Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Soulful Sessions with Rory, the podcast where we dive deep into the matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. I'm your host, Rory, and I'm thrilled to embark on this soulful journey with each and every one of you. Soulful Sessions with Rory is your safe space for introspection, inspiration, and maybe even a little revelation. Whether you're sipping your morning coffee, winding down after a long day, or just seeking a moment of connection, you're in the right place. Before we dive into today's soulful exploration, I want to remind you that Soulful Sessions with Rory is designed for entertainment purposes only. While we may touch on profound topics and meaningful discussions, it's important to approach our conversations with an open heart and a sense of curiosity. Life is a journey, and so is this podcast. We'll navigate the realms of self-discovery, spirituality, and personal growth. But remember, the insights we share here are not a substitute for professional advice or guidance. Always consult with the appropriate professionals regarding your unique circumstances. So whether you're a seasoned seeker or just dipping your toes into the waters of self-exploration, get ready for a blend of wisdom, laughter, and a touch of magic in each episode of Soulful Sessions with Rory. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can never miss a soulful moment. Follow me on social media, IG at Soulful Explorer, on Facebook at the Listening Veteran Life Coach without the and Snapchat Rory space Soulful Explorer with 2 L's so you can stay connected, share your thoughts, and be a part of this incredible community. Now, let the journey begin. Sit back, relax, and let's fill our souls together. So today's episode is titled, actually I have 2. How do you end a relationship and managing toxic relationships? So I thought of it in the sense of if I'm in a toxic relationship, probably want to end it. So to manage it, do we really? So we probably should just call this one, how to end a toxic relationship. Now that can be tricky too, because first we got to identify what is a toxic relationship. And you know what? No, let me go back, because we are going to talk about just how to end relationships amicably, where it's 2 people who are really supporting each other in the end of a relationship. So how do you know when it's time to run from toxic relationships? I'll tell you. One of the things is you feel constantly unhappy, you feel stressed, emotionally drained, and you just feel like that nothing you can do is right. Those are just some signs. Now, understand that what I feel is not necessarily what you feel. You can have your own things that will tell you, oh, it's time to leave this relationship. So don't just take what I say. Some other signs of being in a toxic relationship is constant criticism from your partner. Have you ever just been criticized for everything you do? You cooked a meal and it didn't have enough salt. You walked through the door and why are you stumping your feet? You said, hey, good morning, and it's no, it's grand rising. Like everything that you do, there's criticism. Another thing is when you have a lack of trust. So you're sitting there and you're talking to your partner and it's just like you don't believe what they say. Or you just feel like something is wrong. You can't put your finger on it. But every time they tell you something, you really want to check it. You want to go behind them. And you're feeling like, oh man, something's not right. Now, I'm not saying you do this. I'm just saying you have that feeling to do that. Or what if your partner's constantly treating you like you're doing something wrong? What if your partner's constantly treating you like you're cheating, you're lying, you're doing something, like there's no trust? You say, hey, I'm going to go to the store. And it's like, oh, are you really going to the store? Hey, my boss told me I need to stay late for work. Oh, you usually don't stay late. So what is that about? And it's not just a woman challenging a man, it's men challenging women. So this can go both ways. This isn't about gender. This is about just how you feel. What about controlling behavior? Now, controlling behavior is tricky because we sometimes don't even know it's controlling behavior. For instance, if our partner says, hey, this weekend we're going to go do this. You didn't even get asked what you were doing the weekend, what your thoughts was. And then the minute you say, well, I'm really tired. I just want to relax. I want to rest. Well, that's funny because whenever you want to do something, we do it. And it's just not true, and all of a sudden you have to defend everything you're doing. So what do? You do it anyway just to avoid conflict, or it's, hey, You need to do X, Y, and Z. It's always what you're doing isn't right. And you have to change it. You have to adjust. You got to do everything in your power to make things better, right? So that's where the controlling nature comes from. Or that person is telling you the who, what, where, how without taking any consideration of how you may feel about it. You know, a lot of women say, oh, I want a man to plan a date. Well, what happens if that man is planning a date all the time and you don't get a say so where you go? And if you don't want to go, it's a problem. If you don't want to participate, it's a problem. So, that's controlling. Or if you go to the store, that person say, hey, well, when are you coming back? Oh, I'll be back in 10 minutes. 10 minutes go by. Why aren't you back now? What's taking you so long? Or you say, well, it's the weekend. I got to do overtime. Oh, why would you have to do overtime? Like, it's constantly being challenged and controlled on your movements, your behaviors, like even the way you dress. Somebody telling you, oh, no, you shouldn't wear that constantly. Or, that I don't like what you're wearing right now. You need to go change. And this is your spouse. This isn't your parent. And they're constantly telling you what's wrong with you, using it as a form of control to get you to do what they want you to do. Now, some other things can just be feeling unsupported or unappreciated. If you got some endeavors that you want to do or things that you like to do, and that person isn't saying, hey, let me tell you how great this is, or that person isn't saying, let me help you, or what can I do to help, and seriously looking at your endeavors and supporting you. I can remember when I was in school, working on my master's degree. Anybody that has gone to college or taken any kind of course that requires extreme focus, you understand that every single minute of your life makes a difference. And let me explain what I mean. I was working full time and I was going to school. So guess what? When I wasn't working, I was studying. If I wasn't studying, I was doing homework. Now, here's the tricky part. If I study for 4 hours and I take a break, that break could be 30 minutes, 10 minutes, it could be 4 hours. During that break time, I have to sometimes shut down completely. And if you tell your partner, hey, look, I just got to relax. So give me a couple of minutes or give me an hour, give me a couple of hours. And they immediately start trying to guilt trip you into feeling a certain way or being a certain way. It's a little controlling. That's where the support comes in, saying, hey, look, I'm in college. I got to do X, Y, and Z. And I just need to relax my brain. I need to relax. I need to not stress so much. And sometimes people don't want to hear that because they want what they want when they want it. Now, that is just one version. That's not saying that you haven't neglected them in the past. That's not saying that there are deeper issues. I'm just saying specifically, if everything was in a perfect world, right? Unappreciated. You find yourself, you're cooking, cleaning, you're washing cars, pumping gas, you're doing all these things, and your partner starts to take it for granted. Your partner starts saying, you know what? I don't, or let's say they're not saying anything. They're not just saying, oh, I appreciate you. I'm glad that you did X, Y, and Z. I'm glad that you came through. Or, your time. If you're a professional and you don't really have a lot of time and you stop to make time for that person, at some point, they should be thanking you. Now, they don't owe you that. Let me say that. We want them to thank us. Let me just be clear. And if they don't, tell them what you want. And if they still don't do it, that's different. So, just somebody who understands your time, energy, and effort. Somebody that understands everything that you are contributing to the relationship. Now, if you are experiencing any of these red flags, it may be time to prioritize your well-being because clearly something's not right. You might have to distance yourself from this toxic relationship. Now, your mental and emotional health should always come first. But let's say the relationship isn't toxic. Let's just say, you just don't feel that this is your person and you want to end the relationship. Well, just like a toxic relationship, the thing is, you got to have an honest conversation. That can be difficult because people get angry when they feel rejected or neglected, but telling your partner, hey, look, I really don't think that this is the direction I want to go. Now, notice what I said is direction I don't want to go. You're not blaming them. You're not saying that something was wrong. You're simply saying you want to change directions. And you know, I can't say what's better whether you tell them over the phone or tell them in person, because it really depends on the person that you're with. Because some people, they don't want to hear that, on the phone. They want to see you face to face, look you in your eye, make sure they understand exactly what you're saying. Then there are those other people who clearly don't even want to see you. They Once you say it, all right, cool, I'm gone. But now it differs with every person. You should know your person better than anyone else. Now, sometimes you all both could be having the conversation. You all can have the conversation that says, hey, look, what are we doing? Why are we here? You know, you more so, though, have to be honest about your feelings in regards to the relationship. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't pretend. Be real. Hey, look, this is not what I want to do. Now, this will prevent ghosting. Now, I know a lot of you all have dated and all of a sudden, poof, person is gone. They don't call. They don't do anything that they used to do. Just literally just stop, poof, ghosting. And that was because that person didn't want to have an honest conversation, or whatever it was. They could have found somebody else, or they couldn't. Or they could have just said, this isn't my person. But having that honest conversation, I think that would help. Number two, you got to be respectful. Now, that's hard sometimes, because when you get to the place where you're saying, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, you might find yourself just angry and upset and bothered. But think about it like this: I am ending a situation that has caused me a lot of distress. I'm ending a situation that's caused me a lot of pain, so I don't have to be angry anymore. I don't have to be upset anymore. When it's all said and done, I can be relaxed without a problem. So that's something that I think you have to take into mind. Now, the other thing that you got to think about is, when I sit down with this person, let me make sure that I listen, that I pay attention. And you got to give them a chance to share their feelings, to say, you know what, this is how I feel. So, reflect and be sure. Reflecting and being sure about it, that is so super important. Choosing the right time and place. I'll be the first to tell you, the Waffle House is not a good place. I don't care what nobody tells you. I'm not saying that I did that personally. Okay, I did do it one time. And I thought it was the right time and place. Oh, let me tell you. When somebody does not like what you're telling them, it is not the right time and place. And you'll find yourself in a very interesting situation, because if they are upset and getting loud in a public place, yeah. So yeah, I don't recommend that. But do it according to that person's personality that you're aware of. And I'm just gonna be honest, I didn't even see it coming. Honesty and transparency. That is sometimes so difficult to give somebody, but it's not impossible. You want to be as honest and transparent as possible, telling them, hey, look, this isn't the direction that I want to go. Here are my feelings. Now, sometimes the why is a little tricky. So if you're telling somebody that you want to end the relationship, the why may not be your best choice. Because let's be honest, if you're a woman and you found a man that you thought was better, do you really want to tell that guy, hey, look, Earl, I'm not going to be with you because Jimmy over here got everything you don't? If you're being mean and mean spirited, that could be part of the problem. So I would definitely say honesty and transparency to an extent. Now, you also got to set boundaries while you're doing this, which is a little weird, because you're telling this person you don't want to be with them, and at the same time, you're also trying to explain to them kind of who you are. And this is, of course, for the more toxic situations. You're letting them know, hey, look, I don't want to be friends, or you do want to be friends. You're letting them know that, respect each other's space. I'm done. This is it. And that way it can eliminate false hope. And we'll get into that in a second. You got to set the boundaries and just establish that, like, hey, we're done. It's over. And here's why. There's no getting back. I don't want to be friends. Now, some people don't mind being friends. Some people don't mind, continuing a friendship afterwards. But I will say be careful with that, especially immediately after. I don't care who you are, even if you initiate it, there's some kind of emotional thing going on inside of you. I usually like to take maybe, a couple of months before I'm interacting with that person regularly again. If if I enjoyed the friendship to begin with. Because, sometimes when you start a relationship in the beginning, it is the friendship. So, that's left to your discretion when it comes to setting boundaries. But you're giving yourself space and time to heal as well as your former partner. Now, while you're talking to the person and you're listening actively, make sure you focus on the positive. It doesn't have to be, well, I'm leaving because your breath always stank every morning. I'm leaving because you didn't know how to budget the checkbook. I'm leaving. Let's focus on the positive and acknowledge the good times. You know, there's this thing I call punching somebody in the stomach and rubbing their back. So, in other words, if you're going to tell somebody, how messed up they are, why not also tell them the good things that you did appreciate? It just wasn't enough for you. And that's okay. And we could go into loving people how they desire to be loved, but that's something else. So I would say focus on the positive, acknowledge the good times and experiences that the both of you share together. And then you want to express gratitude and appreciation. So that means that you're highlighting these good memories and you're using it to soften the blow of the breakup, of the separation. Hey, I can remember when we did X, Y, and Z, and it was fun. I enjoyed those times. I enjoyed the times that we laughed, that we played together. I enjoyed all of the things that you did for me. I enjoyed the things that you did for our family. But I also know that right now I'm no longer there. So that's where you got to start seeking closure, because seeking closure is very important. Now, don't get me wrong; it's important to be compassionate, but it's equally as important to not to give false hope or mixed signals. So you can't say, "Hey, it's over. Let's go do lunch." Oh wait, I can't say that because when I got divorced, we literally went and did lunch after our divorce hearing. Okay, well, I'm saying don't do it on a consistent basis until you've healed and you've allowed yourself the time and space. Um, it's it's a way to give clarity. You want to give your partner clarity, saying, "Hey, look, I'm done here. You can move forward. I'm moving forward. I have no ill feelings towards you. I just don't want to be in this relationship, and I'm not going to be. So thank you. I appreciate everything, but I must move on." And that's so, so important. You know, you got to allow yourself then to grieve. People don't realize that ending a relationship hurts. I don't care if you wanted it to end or not. It's emotionally stressful, or it can be. So you got to grieve. Give it some time, some space, without the pressure of interference from your former partner. And that's why it's important that you avoid false hope and that you seek closure, because you can discuss any unresolved issues, questions, and both people can express their emotions and thoughts, and you all can move forward. So I think that also helps to establish ground rules for, hey, when we're not together, here's what we're doing, or here's what we're not doing. So I think that's super important, right? So the other thing is seek support. Now, I know that may seem difficult, but you got to surround yourself with friends, family, or therapists who can help you on this journey, because you just had a traumatic moment. You ended a relationship. And we're hoping that this is a relationship that ended amicably. So we're not going to talk about what if that person is toxic, they start threatening you, well, we will talk about it, but just not right now. Maintain respect even after the breakup. Continue to treat that person with respect, continue to treat them with kindness. Avoid speaking negatively about that person to anybody else. Now, why is that important? If it was a traumatic experience and you shared it with other people, then they're going to bring it back up while you're trying to heal. Could you imagine that you finally got to a place, you're feeling good, you're feeling great, and then here comes this friend that said, "Oh yeah, remember when such and such did this to you and you were hurt and da 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 da." F that person and now you're being triggered all over again. And your healing journey is starting over. So when you break up, you tell the people around you that, hey, here's something I used to use. We decided that it was in our best interest that we went our separate ways. And I always would get this question like, well, what did you do? Or what did she do? We were together and then we weren't. Because for one, it's not anybody's business what happened or how it happened. It's not even anybody's business that you're ending a relationship. The only time it is somebody's business is because you're trying to make sure that your family, your friends aren't re-triggering you over and over again. Ending a relationship amicably takes maturity, understanding, and compassion. And you got to show that. Excuse me. Now, once you have made this, ending a relationship has to show maturity, compassion, and understanding. And once you do this, then you got to start the healing process, the self-care. Taking care of yourself emotionally, taking care of yourself physically and mentally. You have to adjust to life after a breakup. And that's not always easy. Sometimes you don't even know what steps you should take next. Sometimes you don't know what you need to do, and it's okay. Create a new hobby. Ask people, read books, find out how can you be the best version of you. And don't do it to prove anything to anybody. Don't do it to prove to your ex that, oh, see, I'm going to be all right without you. No, you do it because you want to be the best version of you possible. Then you have to make sure that you forgive yourself. I know. Not forgive that person, right? Well, that's a choice. That's up to you. But you have to learn to forgive yourself for being in that situation. Sometimes we beat ourselves up because we allowed somebody to treat us a certain way. Sometimes we beat ourselves up because we did things that we normally wouldn't do. Don't beat yourself up for being human. Relationships are just that. They're relationships. You learn, you grow, you move forward. And oh, by the way, here's a disclaimer. It's okay to go back if that's what you choose to do. There might be a lesson that needs to be learned, or you both learn something and you want to move back with that person. It's okay. When you understand that closure is a personal process, because nobody can tell you how to seek closure, not your friends, not your family. You got to be able to be honest with yourself. You got to be able to be honest with your former partner. It's not always easy, but it's possible. So you just got to take your time. You got to really deal with yourself in these moments and be honest with yourself. You can love somebody and not like them. You can like somebody and not love them. You can get to a place where you're just not happy. But I will tell you this, no matter what, self-care is the best care. So you always got to take care of yourself. Emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. And be careful about asking your friends for advice when it comes to your relationships. Look at the people you ask. Are they in a happy relationship? Have they ever been in one? Do they know what it's about? Have they been triggered at times when you talk to them? Are they angry all the time? I think that subconsciously we ask certain people about our relationships because we know that they're going to give us information that makes us feel better. And sometimes that information is damning the person that we're in a relationship with. So we sit there and we let them bash our mate and we let them pump us up, and then we're single. All because we listen to somebody who don't know how to have a relationship. So if you're in a toxic relationship and you try to leave and that person begins stalking you, or that person begins, threatening you, if that person looks like they're going to be violent or things of that nature, get help. Do a restraining order, call the police, run police reports. If you're a woman, seek a woman's shelter that can protect you. If you're a man, seek shelter, call the police. And I know that for men, sometimes it's hard to report abuse because people don't believe it's possible. But it is. Get help. Go to a hospital. Let them know I'm being abused physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever it is. Don't be afraid. I hope that all of this can resonate with you because, breaking up is not easy to do. And I don't want anybody to break up, but if you must, I hope that you listen to these steps and you learn how to break up with other individuals securely, calmly, with respect and love intact. Operate from love and faith, not fear and anger. You can do that, and you might just save your relationship. So, thank you, beautiful souls, for joining me today on another enlightening episode of Soulful Sessions with Rory. If this episode resonated with you, share with someone who might benefit. And also, I want you to go to the subscribe button and subscribe. I need more followers. Trying to get to 1,000 by April 19th. As we navigate the depths of introspection and explore the boundless possibilities of the human spirit, remember that your journey is uniquely yours, and every twist and turn is a sacred part of your story. Embrace the whispers of your soul, and may the echoes of our conversations linger in your heart, sparking a flame of self-discovery. Until we meet again in the realms of shared wisdom, stay true to your essence, stay connected to the rhythm of your soul, and always remember that you are a masterpiece in the making. Wishing you love, light, and infinite possibilities on your soulful journey. Until next time, this is Rory signing off with gratitude and reverence for the magic that resides in each and every one of you.